Established in April 2021, Upland Development United is the oldest and most exclusive and transparent node development collaborative in the Upland Metaverse. Contact Morecheese BEN68 for more information. Warning! This podcast is produced by Metaverse Ventures Entertainment and contains unsolicited and heavily biased opinions which are solely the views of the individuals involved. It does not include investment advice of any kind, and you are responsible for undertaking your own financial, including tax liability research relevant to your own individual circumstances.
We see very often in the, especially in the Upland general channels, when people start talking about nodes and this, that, and the other project, people say, well, what are all the nodes? How can I find out about it? And we know that there's information here, there, and everywhere. And more than once, I've seen people say, I wish there was a list of all the various node and community related projects out there. So that's what we're going to try and set up. And like I mentioned at the start of the show, next week for the weekly challenge, we're going to be giving away 100,000 UPEX. And there's going to be 3 huge prizes associated with this concept that we've come up with that's going to be given out next week. I'll do some more details about that in a few minutes, but I'll just, rather me blab on, I'll show you what we got going on. So this is over in MVE. So if you're not in the MVE server, you're going to want to get yourself over there if you want to be involved, and especially if you want to get your hand into the 100,000 giveaway. So down the bottom, we've got other metatainment, and we've got a new category in there called Upland Nodes and Projects. So what this is going to be is we've got an Upland-directory. So I'll just read this. I'll read through this for the people that are on Spotify. So we've got Nodes and Community Development Projects Directory. This directory is compiled as a source of basic but easily accessible information for the many node and community development projects in the Upland Metaverse. So it's almost kind of like a launching point in the same way that we have for our Friends of MVE. It's kind of a similar thing. Of course, there's a disclaimer in there. There's lots of scammers, as we talked about. So, you know, it's always a case of do your own research. We will have information about all the various nodes and projects that we can find out about, but, you know, we're not vouching for any of those. And a lot of projects which we talk about fairly often, there's a lot of talk and no action, or whether they're pump and dump and all that sort of stuff. All of that angles, you're going to have to take care of that yourself. It's purely going to be like a library, basically. Speaking of that, if you have an Upland node or development project that you'd like to be considered for entry into the directory, or if you spot any errors at any stage once it all starts getting fleshed out, give Cheese or myself a DM and we'll suss it out. So the entries are just going to be pretty simple. They're going to be based on the country, the city, the neighborhood, the area, the name, the type, possibly the team, the leader or a contact, and a link. Now, there is a caveat with a link. We talked about internally, like, especially in regards to spammage, we can't control and police every link that we get sent. So we come up with a system that's going to help support the Upland wiki better that Thank Me Later's working on with the crew. So the only links that we will allow to be posted in this directory are links, completed links to the Upland wiki. So for example, for the country, USA, for the city, San Francisco, for the neighborhood, Midtown Terrace, the area or the neighborhood or whatever it's going to be. Because neighborhood and area is a bit of a tricky one, because Midtown Terrace is a neighborhood, but you might have an area within a neighborhood that's your node or your community project, kind of like what's the scary one? I'm blanking on the name. Yeah, Creedmoor. So that would be an area, not the neighborhood. If your node has a name that's separate to the neighborhood or whatever, for example, Midtown Terrace United, the type, like within the UDU, we have neighborhood nodes, mini nodes, street nodes, that sort of thing. And then, of course, if you're part of a team, we can put the team name in there, for example, Upland Development United, and the leader or a contact. I'm the node manager of Midtown Terrace, so my name is in there. And then, yeah, we've got a link to the Upland Wiki. Now, if you click that, it's going to take you to Upland Wiki, and it's going to show you like a completed entry all about Midtown Terrace. And within the Upland Wiki, you know, you can post pictures, you can do a whole bunch of information. So that's the best place to put all your extra information. As I said, this directory is just going to be a very simple kind of reference launching point. So category shortcuts are going to be in alphabetical order by city. So, you know, we've already patched in Brazil, Portugal, and whatnot. So they're going to be in there like that. It is going to change a bit depending on how big this gets. Like if we end up with 200 cities or whatever, we're not sure how that's going to fit in within that one post. We'll just play that by ear. So there's kind of shortcuts here. So we wanted to find out about, I don't know, let's do the Bronxdale. So I'm a new player to Upland or whatever, or I want to take a position in the Bronx and I want to know what's there. We click on the Bronx and it takes us down to the Bronx entry. So we've got one entry patched in here, Bronxdale, the Bronx United. That's a full neighborhood node of the UDU run by Morecheese. And then there's a link to her Upland wiki. So, and we can see there, Kansas City, I've patched in Mercedes, patched in screws for Los Angeles, Century Heights, Oakland. I kind of played around and patched in Mosswoods and as an example there from Icon. So Scooby or Cam, maybe you can check that if there's something you want changed there. And Mosswood has a completed wiki entry, so they get a link as well. Uplander school and that sort of thing. I don't know why it changed my San Francisco ones to that color. It drives me crazy when that happens, but anyway. So yeah, we're going to work through and try and fill that out. So it's going to be a kind of launching point reference spot. I don't know. Is there any questions or suggestions about that?
And like, just to let people know, this is just to pretty much show you exactly where these nodes are. If you want to get a more in-depth information about it, once you get to the actual nodes, you click that Upland wiki and it'll bring you to TML's project there, which will go all in depth. And it's really cool. Like that, I love how it's all set up to kind of circle of life everything.
Yeah, and it's also like I could, if I didn't know who Morecheese was and I was interested in this node, I could click on her, you know, there's a hyperlink there to click on her name and I can send her a DM and whatnot. So that's the directory. There's also kind of similar on what we do with the Friends of MBE, where we kind of have vetted people. They can post their own content in there to promote their stuff. It's going to be the same here with Upland content. So if, say, Scooby or Cam from Icon, they want to promote their stuff, we'll give them this special node or project content creator role, and then they'll be able to post away in here with more information. You know, if they got prizes, giveaways, or whatever they're doing, some kind of events, they can post in here. This will be read only, but we do have a chat channel there too if they wanted to chat about the stuff. So we'll give it a go, see how it works. Other than that,
I'm excited.
See what happens. So yeah, we've just kind of outlined what we're trying to do with that node and community directory. So this week's challenge is going to be to DM me as many genuine different node and community development project details as you can find using the format that we've just shown and talked about. And that's outlined in the Upland directory channel in the MBE server. So yeah, think of all the ones you can find. I scrolled through the community projects channel in the Upland Discord last night, and there's like a dozen there straight away that I could see. I didn't take those and patch those in because I wanted to set this up as a challenge. So yeah, try to set that out nicely. And the prize is going to be the person who DMs me the most number of genuine different node or community development projects will win 50,000 UPX straight up. There's not going to be any wheel or anything for that. If 2 or more people submit the same maximum number, I'm going to give it to the person with the cleanest formatting. So whoever does the cleanest version, so I can just patch those details straight in, you'll win it. For everybody else who DMs me 3 or more, you'll go on the wheel next week and we'll run 2 chances at winning 25,000 UPX each. Okay. Does that make sense? Makes sense in my brain, but I'm not good at explaining things sometimes.
I'm really good at smiling and waving my head yes, so maybe someone else.
Yeah. So have a scroll through, have a think, try and get together as many different node projects or community projects that you can think of. Again, it's not like the BE Academy that we had as the sponsor. It's not that sort of stuff. It's focused on development. So whether that be like a full-on node. Some people hate the term node and they call it a hub or whatever. That's fine. Anything that has kind of collaborative, coordinated development. We want those patched in. So obviously the more information we can get in there, the better it is for everybody and the more value it has for everybody. So yeah. Nice big long
Ben,
list.
that obviously doesn't include the nodes that you already have in that channel, right?
Yeah. If I've already, you can't just submit the ones I've already put in there, no. But you can look at that and get an idea of the format that we're after. Ideally, I can just copy and paste it straight from the DMs straight in. But we'll see how we go. Yeah. So yeah, 50,000 for the person who submits the most, and anybody that submits 3 or more, we'll run the wheel. We'll put all those names in the wheel and we'll run it twice to give away 25K each. So yeah, that'll be a total of 100,000 UpX up for grabs for next week's show. And that's all going to be through the MVE server and obviously via my DMs and whatnot. So.